Hello, Year 7 violins and violas. Welcome to your ensemble tuition video. Today we're going to be looking at a piece from Thomas Gregory's Vermouche book, Grand Old Duke of York, and it's just been arranged for a string trio. We're going to be reading from the treble clef today, so this is what's written out for the violins. Violas, you could be reading this as well. It's exactly the same fingers, it's just that we're reading it in the treble clef, but I can explain all of the notes to you, and you can follow all of the fingers on the finger chart at the top of the screen. Right, before we start playing this piece, let's warm up. I'm trusting that you've warmed up using all the physical activities that we've been doing in our solo performance video. So if you haven't yet, can you please pause the video, have a look at Nicola Benedetti's videos about how to warm up your fingers, how to warm up your posture. We're going to start off by warming up in the scale that the piece is in. Now, there are two sharps, therefore you need to find the last sharp listed and you go up a semitone. So the last sharp listed is a C sharp, so a semitone or a half step higher than a C sharp is D. So we're going to play our D major scale. It's just like our 3D scales that we were doing in our solo performance. So I'm going to start off on the D string and we're going to step up. So we're going to go D, 1, 2, 3, A, 1, 2, 3. So it's going D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Okay, can we have 4 notes 4 bows per note? Here we go, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. A string. Great, freeze your fingers. We're going to descend now using this pattern. Ta, tim, ka, ta, per note. So it's going to sound like this. I'll just do the first one for you. Can we try that all together, please? Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Great, we're going to do 2 more rhythms that I want us to do. The first one's going to be 1 long note, so 1 long bow per note. Okay, so we're going to play a semi-brief per note. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, we're going to descend now with a dotted minim, so it's going to sound like this. 3, 3, 3. Can we try that all together? Here we go. 1, 2, descend. 3. Great, now have a look at the music, and those are the rhythms for the entire piece, okay? So can we just say the Kadai signs for the first line? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 ta. 3. Ta, 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 ta. 3. Great, now we're going to say the notes. I'm just going to move myself so that you can see everything that's on the screen here. Okay, let's say those notes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. D, 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 D. E, 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 E. Great. Can we now say the fingers and pizzicato? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. D, 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 D. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Excellent. Let's have a look at the second line. We don't really need to say the Kadai signs because it's all tas until the last bar of the second line, which is a long ta. Okay, can we say the notes? Ready? 1, 2, say the notes. A, 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 D, 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 A, 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 A. Great, let's say in pizzicato. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 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 D, 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 A, 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 A. Very good. Let's have a look at the third line now. So have a look at the second and fourth bars. It's the same rhythm, but it is a new rhythm that we've not really talked about before. Can we see you've got a crotchet and then you've got a quaver that has got a dot after it. It is called a dotted quaver. It also has a dot below it as well, which is telling us that we need to play it staccato, okay? Then the note after the dotted quaver is a semi-quaver, and that's also got a dot under it. Now, semi-quavers are half of quavers, okay? So our Kadai sign for that bar is going to go like this. Which repeat back after me. Ta, tim, kita. Good. Can we try clapping that rhythm? Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Ta, tim. Great. Just read the video and just practice that for a couple of times because we've not really spoken about that kind of rhythm before. Right. Let's say the Kadai signs for the third line. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Ta, 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 ta. Great. Now can we say the notes? Now, do we remember in our solo performance videos, I was talking about the way that we say notes that have got a sharp or a flat. We always make sure that we make an ease sound so that we don't get confused with the natural. So it's going to say, instead of saying F, because they are not F naturals, they are F sharps, we're going to say feast. And the same for when we get to the C, it's a C sharp, so we're going to say cease. Okay, so here we go, third line. 1, 2, say the notes. Feast, 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 feast. Cease, 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 cease. Great. This time, can we say in pizzicato the fingers? Now, if we have a look at our finger chart, can you see that both of them are with our second fingers? Okay, so it's on our second finger on the D string and then our second finger on the A string. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Excellent. Can we try let's just do that one arco. I know we've not done arco for the other ones yet, but this one's a bit more tricky. So here we go. Third line arco. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now let's have a look at the last line. Now, musical detectives, you'll have spotted that the rhythm of the fourth line is the same as the rhythm as the second line. The only thing that's changed here are the notes. So let's say these notes all together. Remember what I just said about F sharps. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feast, 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 feast. G, 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 G. A, 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 A. Great. Can we try saying the fingers in pizzicatoing? Here we go. First finger down, second finger down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. A, 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 A. Very good. Can we try arco? Here we go. First finger down, second finger down. Last line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Can we try playing the whole piece arco this time? We're also going to make sure that we're being aware of the dynamics. So, as I said before, this is an ensemble piece. So it means that there's going to be 2 other parts playing when we put all this together. So when we are playing the ensemble, you have got different jobs. You're not always playing the tune. Sometimes you're playing the harmony and sometimes you're playing the bass line. If you are playing the melody, which is the tune, you will be marked forte, which is when it's got an F in italics. And when you're playing the accompaniment or the bass line and the harmony, it's written P, which means piano. So it means when you're playing forte, I need to have a heavier bow and more bow. And when you're playing piano, you're going to play lighter bow and less bow. Okay, so let's give this a go right away from the beginning. Instruments up, whole bar in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and circle. And quieter. Third line. Great. Can you make sure that you can play that whole page with me at that tempo? You might need to freeze the video and practice this a few times, and this might even take a couple of days to be able to play this with me, but that's absolutely fine. If you are able to play that part, you're going to come on to the second part with me. So here is the second part. Now, can you see the rhythm of the first line is the same as the rhythm that we had in the third line? And look, it's even easier because it's just on the open strings. We've got the first 2 bars are on the open D string, and then the next 2 bars are on the open A string. So can we try playing that straight away? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now let's have a look at the second line. Now again, our rhythm of the second line, let's flip back, is the same as the rhythm we had in the second and fourth lines in the previous part. So what I want us to do now is we're going to say the notes. Remember what I said about F sharps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fees, 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 fees. G, 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 G. Fees, fees, E, E, D. Very good. Let's now try saying and pizzicato the fingers. So first finger down and second finger down. Thumb, fingerboard, first finger around like a wiggly worm onto the D string. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, D. Great. Now let's have a look at the third line. Third line and first line are identical. Let's have a look at the last line now. Again, our rhythm is the same as what we've just done in the second line, so all we need to worry about is the notes. So let's say the notes of the fourth line. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. D, 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 B, 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 D, D, cease, cease, fees. Very good. Let's say and pizzicato the fingers. So all of this is going to be on the A string until we get to the last bar, which is our second finger on the D string. So on the A string, first finger down, second finger down, and third finger down. Thumb, fingerboard, wiggly worm. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3. Great. Those of you out there would have not noticed the deliberate mistake in the second bar. Instead of saying 1, I said 2. Silly me. Can we try playing the whole piece, arco? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, well done. So again, make sure that you don't move on to the next part with me until you can play this part absolutely perfectly. Really, really well done. And here is part 3. Now, can you see that the first line, it's the same with the same fingers as what you played in the third line of the first part, okay? So we don't actually need to practice that. And can you see the second line is the same as what we had in the last line of the second part. The third line is the same as what we had in the first line of the first part. And so the last line, that's the only different bit. Okay, so let's have a look at the last line. let's just say the notes because we don't need to worry about the Kadai because we've done those enough times already. So here we go, let's say the notes. 1, 2, 3, last line. A, 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 D, 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 D. Feast, feast, E, E, D, E. Great, let's say in pizzicato, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 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 D, 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 D. 2, 2, 1, 1, D. Great, we're going to play arco the whole piece. First finger down, second finger down, bow onto the D string. Nice and quiet because it's piano, it's the accompaniment. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really well done, guys. Now you've learned all the individual parts. We're going to put this together as a piece of ensemble music. This is the first recording of the Grand Old Duke of York, so I would like you to please play the first part. Myself and my other helper are going to be covering the second and third parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now the second recording of the Grand Old Duke of York, so I'd like you to please play the second part. Myself and my helper are going to be covering the first and third parts. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now the third recording of the Grand Old Duke of York, so I'd like you to please play the third part. Myself and my helper are going to be covering the first and second parts. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really well done, guys. We've now put this together as a trio. It would be really fantastic if you could try recording each individual part. See if you can find some software on the internet. The app that I've been using is called Acapella. Really well done. And ready to move on to the next ensemble piece, which is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.